Isn't there usually something to do on a Friday?
I think I love Retrogames.
This week on the Retrogames show, we announce the winners of our Sir Clive Sinclair lookalike competition. And we prepare for the worst as Jace pulls the plug on the show.
I think I love Retrogames.
Hello, yes, it is me. It is Jace at Retrogames. Hello, and welcome to another show. Happy weekend to you. Yes, I am back. It is the Retrogames show, and contrary, I'm not pulling the plug on the show. I'm not pulling the plug. That's rumour. Well, maybe not exactly that. Okay, then let's start with this. Show news. Yeah, show news. Show news. Okay, as you know, this show, it's been a labour of love. We've done 30 episodes in a row. That's a lot of content, hour and a half each. That's like, what, 30, 40 hours of content. Me rambling on at you, and you guys have all loved the show. Well, some of you guys have loved the show. Now, I did a little survey. You might remember, you might have seen it. It was on our little community tab, talking about what your viewing habits of this show is like, because obviously it's an hour and a half show. It's a lot of work to put together, and it's recently come to my attention that my viewing times were on the decline. And last week's episode 20, the average viewing time of the views, 400 views, the average viewing time was 10 minutes 15 seconds. So yeah, yes, exactly. That is not a lot, is it? So I'm putting all this effort in making an hour and a half show, and you guys, some of you guys are watching it all, but the vast majority are skipping to the new stuff, which is fine. You're bored of the comment section. It's not really. I was enjoying it, but it was a lot of work. I'm doing it today. This is a normal show, but yes, I need to change it up. I need to change the show. So this is episode 21. It's going to be the last one like this for a while. I'm going to change something about, but I will be back next week. Yeah, I will be back next week with the show, but it's going to be different. It's going to be different. We're going to chop some stuff out. It's going to be more concise, more about the stuff that comes into the site. It's sad. I mean, thanks to ChatGPT, I found out how many people actually watched last week's episode and the episode before. Only 44 people are watching this show from start to finish. Now, that, you know, okay, I'm absolutely love you 44 people. You're all my friends, but that is terrible. That is really terrible viewing figures for putting out a show that's taking me 2 days a week for 44 people. It's kind of like, I might as well just all invite you around. We have a bit of a party. I might as well, we can just hang out. Let's hang out in real life and save a lot of this work. So yes, sorry about that. We are going to chop the show, but the show is going to come back. This will come back. This is going to be a bit of a break when we reconfigure, maybe get some more subscribers, maybe make this a bit more snappy, a bit more games related. It's always games related, but maybe a bit more new stuff related, more exciting. I can go a bit more in depth on some of the stuff that we talk about. So yeah, I think it's interesting. It's interesting, a new angle. But yeah, there will be some changes that some of you might miss, like the competition and stuff like that. Which okay, that's pretty much show news. The show is carrying on. I'm still going to be here every Friday, but the show's going to change a bit. It's going to be more concise. It's going to be more interesting, more relevant to you and your collections. Because it's become a bit of a ramble and a little bit self-indulgent, I will agree. A bit self-indulgent, all the old gav and the funny voices, and it's getting more and more crazy. And that's fine if people are loving it, but when you've only got 44 viewers and when the regulars are telling you, Sean, not just Sean, loads of people have said, I just watched the beginning and then I skip straight to the newly listed. I watched the beginning, I see what Marvin pulls for the prize, see if I won, and then I watch the new stuff. And if that is the core viewing habits of you lot, then it's up to me to honour that and concentrate on the stuff you like. hope you understand all that. Let's move on to the sheet. Thank you for indulging me. The show will. I'm still going to make this show with the comments, with the competition. It will come back, but maybe for specials, maybe for Christmas. We'll do. We will. This show. It's not gone forever, but I need a break anyway. It's been hard work. I printed something out and then I forgot to. I've got to go and get another sheet. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I've got my sheets now. I'm checking the cameras every time. You know that. You know that. Get on with it, Jace. Well, okay. We had an interesting message from a regular viewer and Retrogaming fan, Nadeem. And he got in touch because he's got some super rare items he wants to sell. I mean, these are ridiculously rare. We have a few super rare things. These are more super rare things. But they're very, very hard to value. And so I said, well, I could put it out on the show, show some photos and just see if anyone's interested or if anyone thinks, oh, I know someone who'd like that or how much they might pay for it. So let me show you some items. First, he's got this. Now, this is a Denpa Shonen Teiki NFS Karaoke Bar version T14316G. Yes, Denpa Shonen Teiki. This is a karaoke game. Well, sort of. Here's the title.
Denpa Shonen Teiki Game!
Yes, this game is so rare because it was released in two versions, one for consumers and this one which was just for Japanese karaoke bars. But it's not a karaoke game, you play mini games like this, carving shapes out of blocks, or this strange version of Flagman, a very strange lady. It's more like WarioWare than a traditional karaoke game, that's for sure. Yeah, catchy title. Interesting, a karaoke bar version of a game. But super rare. What about this? This is a Sega Saturn. This is a Sega Saturn Thai version, and apparently it is ridiculously rare. And this one's in mint condition. Check it out. Yeah, again, I don't know how to value that. I just don't know. Apparently, he said he's never ever seen one come up for sale ever. You know, it's kind of like those crazy Dreamcast of ours. Now he's got some other games as well. He's got for Saturn again, and really rare. Let's check that out. This is Teirush Depi for Sega Saturn, super rare. And it is a shame that it is so rare because it's a pretty cute Sonic-inspired platform game with bosses and cute graphics and great themes. And as you can see, your character is actually a car. Yeah. You're jumping around as a car. You can see his little wheels. This is a boss level. Yeah, it's a car. But I think that's a brilliant idea, actually. A car who's a person. That's where Pixar got the idea from. And he collects cans of gas to help him keep moving. Oh yeah, I mean, such a fun game. I can't believe this got such limited attention. And no European UK release, of course. Yes, well, and it is a ridiculously rare game. Yeah, he has opened it. He broke the seal himself just to play it once, but it actually was sealed. But he's got more. He's got Deli Sober Deluxe. Now, Deli Sober Deluxe is by Cave. Oh, and wow, this is just such a classic Sega-looking game, isn't it? I love the driving games that are like this. You play the delivery guy on the back of a moped, got to get your food to your customer. Dodging people on this crazy Sega-style road. Fabulous music. Mind the cows! Mind the cows. It's one of those games that everyone wants. There is only 50 copies of it. There is 50 copies in the world. And I believe it is sealed. It is sealed one of 50. It is ridiculously rare. Now, this game was only given out to people at a live broadcast on Tokyo TV. I mean, that is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's only 50 and it was only given away on a TV show. Yeah, that's why this stuff is so hard to value. But it's interesting to look at and talk about, and I would love to know what you think of it. And there's two more. This is Eiffel Home and Heim Waltz. Now they're both housing software, like house design software. Very strange. They were made for high net worth corporate clients of Sega. There's only 200 of Eiffel Home and only 250 of Heim Waltz ever made, and both examples are sealed. So, very exciting Nadim stuff. It's lovely stuff. Any comments? Anybody got any big bucks they want to blow on this stuff? Then get in touch with me at sales@retrogames.co.uk. Yeah, just a little thing. I just thought it's worth bringing to the show. Interesting. Let's go to the normal sheet. Let's go. Are you ready? Runners and riders. It's this side. It's always been this side. Is it this side? Yeah, it's this side. Ding! I can't tell you how badly it feels like it should be that side. It really, when I'm doing this face on, it really feels like it should be that side. Because I'm looking at it, I'm looking at me on the camera, on the little screen, and that looks like the screen that I edit, and it always appears on that side of. But because it's face on, it's the opposite, so it's definitely that side, as you can see. Anyway, shut up, Jace. How many this week? 20! A nice round 20 to finish us off here. We've got 20 comments this week on the big Retrogaming show. Bit of Steve right there. Bit of Steve right. Let's start working our way through the list. This is the bit that you guys all fast forward. Maybe this week, just don't fast forward it. Think, well, let's savour it. Not going to be doing this. Not going to be able to see any fresh stuff like this anymore. Let's listen to what he rambles on about, because he does talk about games. I do talk about vintage games in this bit. I show vintage games in this bit. You've been skipping it, but I have been talking about old games. I mean, last week even I showed Weird Dreams. That was me just reminiscing, showing it was about a game, and it's a game we got in stock. Just because I wasn't showing it on the newly listed bit doesn't mean it wasn't relevant. You're fools to yourselves. You've done this. Not you 44 regular full-time, full-length viewers. Not you guys. But the rest of you, they've all stabbed you in the back. Starting a bit of needle. No, I will be back next week. I've told you, but not with this. Number one MSX to go. He was brilliant last week. Do you remember? We played some weird soundtracks, which I really loved actually. And he was really kind about the Retrogames magazine and the shop and all that stuff. And he said, I'm welcome to go to his house for dinner in Madeira anytime I'm there. I'd love to be in Madeira. I bet, if you've retired there, if you've sold up and, you know, an expat living over, fantastic. I mean, I can't imagine how beautifully, I have looked at holidays in Madeira and thought, wow, that's a beautiful place to go. Never actually been, but if I do, I'm going to be getting in touch. So do you remember me? We met once in 2020, a long time ago. And he said one extra fact about the Penguin Adventure. Remember we showed Antarctic Adventure, Penguin Adventure, because of the soundtrack on the show last week. Yes, see, we showed games last week in the comments section. See, narky, innit? Narky. He said, you know, that's the first game that was worked on by Hideo Kojima. Yes, the Metal Gear man. He worked on. You have to show it. Yeah, but, I mean, Penguin Adventure. He wrote that. He didn't write. He worked on it. But isn't that amazing? There's proper history there. Proper Konami history. He's ostracised by Konami now, but back in the day, we all loved the old Metal Gears, didn't we? Number two is Nath. He's just simple warning: don't eat batteries. Now he watched from start to finish, and he saw at the very end I ate some watch batteries. See, that is commitment. Commitment. He's committed. 3 is our old mate Sheza, who started giving us loads of things to talk about, and it's the same thing as normal. He's given us great content. He's talking about his collection. See, it's relevant. It's about video game collectors like Sheza. He says his collection's become a bit confused, and I think this happens to a lot of us. We collect our games, we fill up shelves full of all our favourite things, but then once you've got everything from your childhood, everything that you reminisced about, everything your friends had that you really wanted, everything you saw in the shop but couldn't afford, then what do you collect next? He said he started buying random games for random consoles, like, you know, just for no reason really. He needs to set some collecting goals. Okay, well, it's tricky, isn't it? I mean, you could say, okay, well, you like that game, whatever it was, say Metal Gear. Let's collect all the Metal Gear games. You could do that because a lot of people they focus on a series. Like last week we had Gen Pix showed us his Final Fantasy games. You know, and that is quite a huge, massive collection, just Final Fantasy in itself. Zelda, a lot of people just collect all the Zelda games. Now, you've got to really love a game. I mean, if you really love a particular game, then focus on that. I mean, you could break it down by company. They reckon now there's 24,000 ZX Spectrum releases out there. That's how many programs were made for the Spectrum. Now that is it's too vast. Who's going to collect 24,000 items? I think this might be over the top. But you could focus on that one company, and people collect the Hit Squad, and we've slagged them people off, but they collect all the Hit Squad games, they collect all the Codemasters games, collect all the Mastertronic games. Budget games, they lend themselves well to completion, if you want to collect mini sets. He said, what sets could I collect that I wouldn't need to mortgage a house for to try and complete the set? What set do you want to complete? Now I'm thinking Retro Bear's Wii set. He probably hasn't got the whole lot, but it looks like he has. But some sets are massive, you know. Let's think about this. Like the NES is huge. I mean, formats that haven't got many games. But formats that haven't got many games, the thing is, those formats do have really, really rare games. Like Atari Jaguar, say. There's only 50 releases for the Atari Jaguar, but some of them are very, very expensive. Another console, another Atari 7800, which we've had a load of lately. We bought a set, and yeah, I think there's 59, 60 in the set, not including the homebrew sort of stuff. That's just relatively, you know, it's doable, isn't it? 60 games, it's doable to have a complete set, but you've got to have some passion, you've got to have some love for the format, and the Atari 7800 is quite quirky. It's funny to think you would start trying to build that set if you didn't already have a VCS set. I mean, surely the Atari VCS would be the premier, and then, after that I'll start collecting 7800 because it's similar. Next step, isn't it? It's the next step, maybe 5200 as well. So yeah, tricky. I'm thinking about more recent formats. I mean, the PSP, they are lovely boxes, aren't they? They're nice things. They look great on a shelf. They're brilliant games. The PSP is quite underrated. There's 807 original PSP releases if you're trying to get the whole set. But there's another 650-ish UMD discs, all the movies and TV series, and some of those are very, very rare because I think some of those sold in numbers less than 50. I mean, insane. Some of the stuff, Mighty Boosh, what that came out on an UMD for PSP. It's just unusual. It's quirky. There's rarer than I've just picked random in my head. 3DS. I mean, I recently wrote about 3DS, and I know Ed. He's collecting the set of 3DS, but there's quite a huge amount. So there are 1,480 3DS releases, but only 300 boxed releases. It's not a lot compared to some. It's not a lot compared to some. If we're going to collect PlayStation, but you know, 3DS. I love the 3D games myself, but there's so much Japanese only and so much role-playing games in foreign languages and loads of games in Japanese that you'll struggle to get, and you'll also struggle to play. And you get to that point, am I just collecting for the sake of collecting? Or is there a point to all this? I don't know. Completist stuff is tough. I almost feel a little bit, when someone tries to sell me a complete set of something, I almost feel sorry for them, because individually those games, they're not worth so much. But together they should extrapolate up, but they don't really, because that, even the rarer game in that full set, it was the one that you really struggled to find, the one that you searched and searched and searched and you finally got it. On its own, taken out of context, it's just a game. Well, they're all just games. I don't know if you know what I'm on about. I don't. Two of my favourite formats, Vectrex. Now the Vectrex, there's 28 official releases for the Vectrex. And they are relatively easy to get. You've got the Polar Rescue and the Pole Position, American only, but you can track them down. The 3D overlay, the 3D headset games, a bit trickier. Again, only in the USA, but you can track them down. They do turn up. It's not as VentureVision stuff. And the Vectrex is an amazing machine, but you've got to love the Vectrex. I'm super passionate about the Vectrex, is why I collect it. So, you know, what machine is your... I mean, you previously talked about NES. Collecting SNES, that's a big one. NES is a big one. I mean, that's going to cost you a fortune. So you can't... It's really hard. It's really hard. Virtual Boy. I mean, I collect Virtual Boy. I've got the set. But there's only 22. But they're very expensive when you get to the top end. I'm thinking about modern formats, say Switch. You think, well, I'll get stuff cheap because you can look around Amazon or on eBay and stuff, and you think, oh, well, that Switch game looks really unusual. It's not going to have sold many. I can snap it up now. It's only £4, £5, £7, and start building them up. But there's already 4,500 Switch games out there. But that is going to be a massive set, and I think it will look incredibly impressive on your shelves. All those red spines. But 4,500, and we're not anywhere close to the end of Switch. I'd imagine we're going to get closer to 6,000, 7,000 by the time that format dies. Yeah. Basically, you've opened a massive can of worms, Cheza. Personally, I'd go back to the basics, the format that you first had. The one, I mean, if it's Spectrum, then you're stuffed. But you could collect the labels that you liked, you know, like me and my Quicksilvers or the Alligators I talked about last week. Concentrate on those labels that mean something to you. It's all about you. Personal preference. Work it out yourself. I've had enough of talking about it. Number 4, Justin Wormleyton. Favourite soundtrack. Back to the favourite soundtracks. You've all been saying which your favourite music was on your favourite console or computer. And his is Last Ninja 2 for the Commodore 64. Check it out. Tune! Yeah, that is a tune. Well done. That's a good one. Moving on. Number 5. We've got someone new! Someone new! Alright, the dying gasp of the show, and we've got someone new. Richard Tapenden. Hello, Richard. Lovely to meet you. And he's answering Sheza from last week. Remember, we did a little bit of a montage, no, a gallery of licensed games for SNES and NES. And he says, surely the best licensed game is based on TV show is DuckTales on the NES, and that is a classic. DuckTales, very highly rated. But he also gives us, and moving on, he gives us a story. Do you remember last week we showed Atmosphere, that creepy game?
That is a stupid name, isn't it, you maggot?
It's nice to reminisce on this stuff. He said he played Atmosphere once with his 8-year-old brother when he was a kid. After 5 minutes, he had to leg it out of the room and had to sleep on the floor of his parents' bedroom. He was so terrified. Oh, poor guy. The poor guy. That was pretty scary. Come on. And for a kid, that would be scary. I wouldn't want my little kids playing it. But you know, but nothing actually happens. There's no actual gore. It's just a drone in the background. It's that moody soundtrack in the background, I think, makes it more creepy than it really is. Number 6, Steve Holloway. He said it's good to see more Gav. Good to see more Gav. He was on that bit about Atmosphere. Gav could well be coming back. Who knows? Who knows? You might have seen he went solo on his own little video. Just the same video we showed on episode 17, but it's still got a lot of views because everyone skipped past it. So just stick it out on its own. That's so much stuff I can stick out on its own, and I will be. 7, Retro Bear. Good old Retro Bear. He said, this is a strange one, he said last week I talked about Streets of Rage and I accidentally said Streets of Mage. And he said, that's weird because a horse with that name won the Kentucky Derby on Saturday. Streets of Mage. Streets of Mage won the Kentucky Derby, and I just happened. That is, we are living in a simulation. That's all I can say. It's a simulation. He says about Atmosphere, that board game again. He says the scariest thing about Atmosphere was the standard of the acting.
I think it is.
That's a bit harsh,
So do all the others.
I know what he means. 8 is Rusty Bucket. Rusty Bucket, I've gone back to his Rusty Bucket name rather than his other name, just for the heritage of the show. As it's a special one. He says, don't strip out the what's in the box section. he could see what's coming. He voted on the the little vote about your viewing habits. Anyway, yeah, I'm not stripping out the what's in the box section. That's going to be the kind of focus of the show ongoing from here. He says, like, first gaming memory. We like talking about your gaming memories. He said he was with his parents. They stopped off at a pub in Pucklechurch near Bristol. He said he was given a packet of discos and a Pepsi in a glass bottle. Back then, glass bottles. And he sat down and he played a glass tabletop version of Gallagher. Cocktail tap. Do you remember when pubs had cocktail arcade machines? I mean, cocktail arcade machines, they're kind of weird, aren't they? But you'd have them at the corner, rather than, like, you know, you'd have a booth, and you'd have, like, seats one side, seats the other, cocktail arcade. People are just spilling their beer all over it, but then sometimes people put the money in and play the game. And actually, wasn't it pretty awesome? I think even now, in your local Wetherspoons, if you've got a screen set into the table and controllers, you think, well, I might as well give it a go. Especially a 2-player game, just something to do while you're drinking. It's a brilliant idea. Cocktail. We need to bring back the cocktail arcade cabinet. Come on. Yeah, brilliant. Anyway, and he says his favourite arcade machine still is Radmobile. He played it when he was out with his mates, Blackpool Arcades, finding Radmobile for the first time. Loved that. I say Radmobile, all I can think of is Sonic swinging around from the middle of the mirror. That is all I can think. I don't even remember how good the game was to play. I did see it in the arcades, and all I focused on was the hypnotic swaying of Sonic like this. The classic Radmobile from the arcades. Lovely jaggedy Sega look to it, and there's the Sonic putting you off all the time. You just can't concentrate. But yeah, decent arcade racer. Pretty good distribution. We did have quite a few of these machines in the UK. And this is what I love, banked roads. Why don't we have real banked roads like this? You know, it's been released on several formats. It came out as Gale Racer on the Saturn. This is what it looks like on the Saturn. And here it is, Gale Racer, only released in Japan, and it doesn't take long to realise why. The draw distance is appalling. Cars just seem to lurch out of the foreground at you. Here we go. Yeah, where are you coming from? Suddenly you just flash up. I mean, it's a trait of old games, but come on, it's pretty ropey. It's like we're driving into some sort of magical fog. Yeah, and the cars, they kind of sink into the... Look, that car, it's buried in the road. This one is buried inside the road. Very shoddy. This is an AM2 game. Hard to believe. Yeah, Radmobile. Oh dear. Yeah, it's a classic. It's a good classic. It's the same team as Power Drift. AM2 is Power Drift, isn't it? Come on, same similar to Power Drift. Brilliant. Anyway, finally, Russ, I'm giving you a lot of airtime today, Russ. The fake gamer's disappearing, but he's giving you a lot of time anyway. He says every day he goes to work. We was talking about towns, hometowns, was he related to any? And I said about Bletchley Park last week, and he said he passes the Newsfield building on his way to work sometimes. And he sent us a photo. And it's got a lovely plaque. Look at that plaque. I absolutely agree with that. It did. Those, young people who worked at Newsfield, they really had a massive influence over the youth of the 1980s. Fabulous. A lovely place. I don't wish I could go back in time, but wouldn't it be good to relive that again when magazines were so vital and so beautiful and so exciting, and games were just came out every day. Games don't come out on a Friday or a Monday and that's it. They come out every day. Every day new games, brilliant. Number 9. It's number 9. 8-Bit Boy. He's a double winner. He's our newest double winner, and he was watching the show last week in a caravan in a wet and rainy Lake District. He was on holiday in his caravan, the rain's bouncing off the roof, and he's watching this show. Thank you so much, 8-Bit Boy. Don't win again though, not 3 times in a row. That is just embarrassing. Number 10, checking my cameras, I keep checking them today, I'm a bit worried. Number 10, Beesball. He's in the USA, and he's a big F1 fan. Finally, someone else is a big F1 fan. I'm also a huge F1 fan, and that includes the games. I love all the Formula 1 games. Yeah, that's it really. That's it really. Because it started because Red Bull is quite local to where I am. And Red Bull, if you don't know, they're a hugely popular and successful Formula 1 team. Yeah, Formula 1. Yeah, I'm not going to go on that for you. 11. Richard Cooper. He says he found himself last week in the kitchen doing the dishes, and he realised he was singing, I think I love retro games, I think I love retro games. Yes, it's infectious, and I'm glad. He's in Australia. That song, me pumping out that silly tune, has made him in Australia. That's brilliant. That is the reach. That is fantastic. I have personally infected his brain with the Retro Games theme. Fabulous. Fabulous. More themes to come, I'm sure. Maybe not as annoying as that one. 12, it's our old mate ZX Tetley. Good old Tetley. Best licensed games for Shezza. He says it's got to be Alien 3 on SNES, and it's like I missed that out on purpose to give me a chance for someone to say it this week. Let's check it out. Alien 3 on the SNES, like you haven't seen it before. Yes, classic. And Tetley's also given us 2 of his favourite ever soundtracks. The first one, on the Spectrum, is unexpected. This is an unusual one. Wek Le Mans. Le Mans. I am a racing fan. Wek Le Mans. But when I was a kid, it was always, what's that Wek Le Mans? Yeah, Wek Le Mans. Yeah, it sounds like a platform game. Yeah, Wek Le Mans. Let's check it out. Now it turns out there's actually 2 versions of this soundtrack, one for the humble 48K Spectrum. Check this out. And this is probably the one he meant. This is the 128K version of the theme. I think possibly the 48K version is more impressive technically. Yes, we've forgotten about that. We've forgotten about that soundtrack. Thank you for reuniting us. And finally, he says, what about this for a soundtrack? This is my second favourite all-time soundtrack. Crazy Rider on the BBC Micro. Unexpected. Now, it seems Tetley knows his stuff a lot better than we do. Crazy Rider's actually got a long-lost soundtrack by the classic Martin Galway. It's an 18-minute long track which evolves. We can't play it all here, but let's have a bit of it. Yes, thank you. Love that. Yep, very good. Lovely. Thank you, Tetley. Moving on. 13. Jug McKenzie is not in a blues band or a skiffle band. He's not. He's got a heartwarming tale. I love the heartwarming tales. It gives me a chance to put the music on. Let's put the music. Cue the music. Okay. I sold my beloved Acorn Electron to a friend at school back in 1985. I did it so I could upgrade to a Commodore 64. But me and my friend lost touch soon after. I found out he emigrated to Israel. Recently, we reconnected on Facebook. And while reminiscing about the good old days, he said that he thought my old Electron was still in his parents' attic in London. The next time he was over, visiting his parents, he checked that attic. And he found my Electron! And he posted it back to me, along with all the tapes I'd collected. These included some hand-drawn inlays that I'd made for games. Oh wow! So you got to see your own drawings from like 35 years ago. That is amazing. It's now all safely back in my collection where it will never ever leave. It's pure nostalgia, gold. Fantastic! Yeah, fantastic. He's reunited with his first computer. Isn't that lucky that you sold it to that friend? And they didn't just bin it because it's an Electron. Oh, what's he said? Naughty, naughty Jace, naughty Jace. Oh, don't, stop it, Jace, naughty boy. Electron. 14 is our old mate.
Konnichiwa, everybody.
And konnichiwa to you, James. He says, Shezza, surely the best licensed game on the SNES. It's got to be Batman Forever. No. I'll do that again. He says, Shezza, surely the best game on the SNES. It's got to be Batman Returns. Yeah, surely, okay, Batman Returns. I don't like the Batman games on the SNES, but oh well, fine. Now, he also says, reference to Bletchley Park, which I discussed last week, he says, back in 2010, that's 13 years ago, it was a visit to Bletchley Park which got him back into retro gaming, as he saw an advert there for the Blackpool Gaming Expo and decided to go to that too. The magic was rekindled, but he wouldn't have been if he hadn't gone to Bletchley Park and seen that sticker, poster, whatever. Brilliant. So yeah, Bletchley Park, it gets you back into old games. Really. He says also, last week I played the wrong Renegade music, that's not the music he wanted, and the wrong Lotus music, he wanted the intro music. So, yeah, okay, fair enough. Let's see what I can do about that. Okay, James, now I'm covering all my bases. Here's Renegade on Spectrum. This is the 128 in-game theme. It's pretty dull. I mean, I'm not sure this is actually the theme you're looking for. So I'm covering all my bases. This is the 128K intro theme. Hold on to your hats for this. Now, James, if this is the theme you meant, it's just contrived rubbish. It is a simple 12-bar boogie on a loop. There's no skill, there's no tune, there's no originality in this. This is no Dalglish, Galway, Hubbard. This is just rubbish. It's boring. You know, at least, okay, Treasure Island Dizzy was simple and jolly, but it did have something about it, and that quirky kind of. This is just boring. Seriously, it can't be this. Can't be this. Okay, so I'm covering all my bases. This is the Lotus original game on the Amiga. Intro tune. It breaks my heart because you said you really liked the music on the show, and if this is your idea of great music on the Amiga, no, it's just boring. It's rubbish. And let's check out a slightly better Lotus 2 intro theme, just in case that's the one you meant. Again though, not great. It's not great. Okay, moving on. 15, Michael King, our old mate Michael. Your 7800 never worked. CD TV. Seeing the CD TV tray. He said, you've seen that CD TV, and do you remember the caddy for the discs? You open the lid, you pop the discs in. It reminded him of being back in the school library. He spent many a lunchtime scrolling through Encarta, just like that. Such a rock and roll childhood, he says. But that's right, isn't it? Encarta. That is a proper memory. I mean, you can't compare that. We've got the internet now. We've got ChatGPT. We know everything instantly whenever we want. But yeah, he's scrolling through. It's basically Encarta is a digital encyclopedia. Came out for CDI, CD-TV. Really slow, dragging information off of a CD-ROM. Hazy information. I mean, yeah, dreadful. I mean, it's proper memories. Proper memories. We You tugged them out. We got them out with the old fishing rod. 16, Jason Volk. Jason Volk, now, he makes a very good point here. He says, we talked about games, licensed games made from... but what about the other way around? What about all those films made based on games? And he's right, isn't he? There are a lot of them, and they're quite interesting. He says about the Tomb Raider ones, the Resident Evils, of course. There's Silent Hill. I quite liked the first Silent Hill movie. It was pretty good. The Last of Us we've watched recently, haven't we? We must have all watched The Last of Us. That was really good. Yeah, really enjoyed that. Not a film, but like a film. He says he would really love a game based on Monkey Island, and actually that's a brilliant idea, like a comedy pirate adventure. No Brad Pitt involved, please. No, but it might work. It might work. It made me think. I thought, wasn't there a Leisure Suit Larry film? I seem to remember Danny DeVito was going to play Leisure Suit Larry, but I guess it never happened because I've searched. I cannot find it. What a shame. He said, but what films would you like based on games? What games would you like turned into films? And there's so many. And I thought about this while I was sitting on the loo, and I thought, well, surely for me it's going to be GoldenEye. GoldenEye. That was such a brilliant game. I spent so long playing that game. GoldenEye. That would make a brilliant movie. No, but seriously, I thought, what about, going back to my favourite games of all time, what about Dungeon Master? Just imagine, like, you're going through Dungeon Master with your 4 characters, going through all those mazes. I would think I would love that. I'd still like to play that. I'm waiting for a VR equivalent of Dungeon Master that really rocks. That you can play with a group of 4. Wouldn't that be incredible? It's coming. It'll come. But what about Software Star, the Kevin Toms game that nobody else other than me likes? Just imagine that, like some young upstart writing his first game and setting up his own software library, software company, trying to get his games to be hits, and then eventually going bankrupt and ended up drunk in the gutter. That would be a great movie. Yeah, Software Star, the movie. Isn't there a Zelda movie coming soon? I'm sure.
A primal evil that has endured over the ages.
And after the Mario Brothers hit, I'm sure Zelda movie is coming. Yeah, I'm sure Tears of the Kingdom's got to push it on. I'm sure there's going to be. It's probably CGI. It's not going to be real world. But yeah, we want a Zelda movie, don't we? We do. 15, Michael King. Haven't we already had Michael King? No, I've done 15. I've done 16. 17, PJ Venom. Yeah, good old mate PJ. He is standing proudly behind his Code Veronica X choice as his favourite ever game. And I think you should. And I'm proud of you, PJ. Absolutely. Stand behind your game. Because, like me standing behind Software Star, one of the ropiest old Spectrum games, but I absolutely loved it and I played it to death. And, you know, it's about what they did to us. It doesn't matter about the reviews. It doesn't matter it's a conversion of a game from another format. It doesn't matter at all. If that's, you know, he says Resident Evil is his favourite series, and to him, Code Veronica X is the best game in the series because it meant so much to him at the time. He actually says the nostalgia value. Yeah, the nostalgia in that game is incredibly powerful. Yeah, because it takes him back to that time. Yeah, don't let anybody tease you about that. It's absolutely fine to like that game. Better than any other game that's ever been made. Absolutely fine. 18, Jabobbly Rob. Yeah, Jabobbly Rob. He's answered that question about his favourite items in his collection. He says, number 1, Intellivision. Bing! Yes, the classic Intellivision. There's some great games on television, but you, like he said before, you really had to learn to love the controllers. But he says he also still has the Commodore 64 he had as a boy. And this is a very special, he didn't send me a photo sadly, but it's a very special Commodore. It's been retrofitted by him, I guess, with a reset button. He's added a reset button, which Commodore 64 doesn't have. And also the F1 key, he broke it when he was a kid, and his dad fixed it by screwing through the key to put it back onto the plastic. So it's got a screw going through the F1. I love that. I love that. It's like a, you know, after the Holocaust Mad Max Commodore 64 he's got. I wish he sent a photo. I'd like to see it, but too late. We're not going to do photos of this anymore. We're not talking about this stuff anymore. We're done. Ooh, that was harsh. No, I like that story. He said that those machines, they started his obsession with gaming. And he says he refused. He says he still calls it gaming. He calls this gaming. It doesn't feel like it's retro gaming till he looks in the mirror. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's just gaming, isn't it? It's gaming. We're still contemporary. He says what we should do about all these song choices. There's a Retrovision song contest. Yeah, where all the songs come on, maybe with their original composers, and we talk about it. Wouldn't that be amazing? It would be. Full of it, aren't I? Full of it. 19! Yeah, 19 is our old mate. Jen Picks. Putting the aggro into retro games. Yeah, he's hostile, but we love him for it. He's aggressive. Anyway, all he says this week is, nice to see Atari ST. I can't do a Scottish accent, I can't do it. Aye, okay, nice to see. See, I've got ready for... Where was I going? I'm going Game of Thrones. Aye, okay, Atari ST stuff rather than that Amiga nonsense. I wasn't... Okay, yeah, better than Amiga nonsense. He calls Amiga nonsense. He's an Atari ST devotee, and we love him for it. Yeah, go Jen Picks, I'm going to miss you. No, you're not going to. Finally, number 20, we got to the end. Number 20 is Sousa Nord, and I think she, Sousa, could be a boy, could be a girl, I can't tell. And at this point, I have no way of knowing. Said, brilliant to see Super Drop Zone on the show, because we showed that last week. He said, but sadly, did you know Archer McLean passed away on the 17th of December 2022? And I am really, really embarrassed to say, no, I did not know that. I was unaware that Archer passed away. And I'm going to be honest, when I read that, I was pretty devastated because I have met Archer. He was a lovely guy. We went to the pub. I've told you this before. I went to the pub with Archer McLean. And we all remember, he's one of those, he's like one of that Playboy kind of guy, you know, with his massive arcade machine collection. He was in showing. I remember seeing that big interview with him in Edge, and he was showing off all his pinball machines. And just, I kind of, yeah, I can't think of him as old, ill, or not with us anymore. So I've just done a little Archer McLean tribute. Go Archer. Born in Birmingham in 1962, Archer McLean had a keen interest in electronics. Legend has it that he took the family television apart in 1972 just to see how it worked, which in turn led to a job as a part-time TV repairman while he still studied at school. He invested his wages in computer equipment, including an iconic Commodore PET, on which he learned to program. After leaving school, he worked freelance for several games companies, including Hewson, before finally creating his own game, Drop Zone. Initially released for the Atari 800 and Commodore 64, some would say Drop Zone is a blatant Defender rip-off. Archer would tell you it was his homage to the legendary Eugene Jarvis. Like many other gifted programmers of the time, his talents were snapped up by Mark Cale, with Archer creating the hugely successful International Karate and 3-player International Karate Plus for the System 3 label. When Archer attended our Retrogames exhibition back in 1998, he was just about to release Jimmy White's Cue Ball 2 and was full of hilarious stories, 24-hour coding sessions and chewing his fists through press events with a drunken Jimmy White in tow. Despite producing fairly few video games compared to his peers, each felt groundbreaking in their time. From the inventive Mercury on PSP to his final game, Wheelspin for the Nintendo Wii. It's not hard to imagine Rocket League taking a little inspiration from this motorised battle game. A game collector before game collecting was really a thing, Archer's impressive coin-op and pinball collection became the envy of us all. A true gaming enthusiast, aware of the history and technical boundaries broken by video games throughout the ages, we've lost a true ambassador for the industry, and from my brief time with him, an all-round lovely bloke. Yes, I've no likelihood that his family are ever going to see this, but he was a fabulous. I mean, we've talked a lot recently about IK Plus and IK, haven't we? He is a major figure in the history of retro gaming, and we will miss him very much, and that's very sad. So that brings me to the end. A somber note to bring the end of the sheets for the last time for a while. But let's talk about this.
Competition time.
Yeah, competition time. And I've got a good prize to finish off with. A good prize. And what the heck have you got in this? Yeah, what is in the box? Absolutely. What's in the box? I am, for the first time, we are giving away a games console as a prize today. Yes, you didn't know last week that you've now got a chance to win a Master System 2. It works, it's fully tested, it's got built-in Alex Kidd game, it's got a controller, it's got a power supply, it's got the TV cable, it's all there. I'm hoping that someone wins it in the UK. You have a chance to win an actual Sega Master System. You're actually going to win a piece of retro gaming hardware that works. You might already have a Master System, maybe you're not, maybe you haven't. Maybe you're young, maybe you don't care about Sega, maybe not, but that's what you can win. It only remains only remains for me to get my friend, cue the jingle.
My name is Marvin. My name is Marvin. Remember my name. 'Cause my name is Marvin. My name is Marvin. And
Yes, numbers are his game. Let's fiddle with me numbers. Okay, Marvin, this is a big one. This is for a games console. Let's see if we've got power. Yeah, we've got a 0. That's good. It's not going to be a rushed. It's not going to be a rushed one. Okay, here we go for the big competition. Thanks, Marvin. You've been a fantastic buddy to the show. It's been great to have you around. We're going to miss you. Let's say goodbye to Marvin with a really good draw. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, Marvin. Yes! Now that looks like 15 in the reflection. But it's 12! It's number 12. Let's get... throw my sheet on the floor. I've got to see what it is. Number 12. It's Tetley! Tetley! Yes! I'm so glad Tetley finally got to win. He's been commenting on the show since we started. And it couldn't go to a better person. I'm so glad... thanks Lee, I'm so glad you won. You have got a Master System coming to you, but do still email me at this to confirm the address. I'm sure we've got your address, but text me and email me and we will send that off to you. Okay, well we know what bit of the show comes after. What? Oh. Okay, sorry, change of plan. We'll come back to that in a minute. My friend Marvin wants to say a little thing. He wants to say something before he goes to bed. So, okay, Marvin, what do you want to say?
My name is Marvin. Thank you so much for playing all the competitions. It's been great fun, and I hope I will see you all again very soon. Thanks for playing.
Yeah, thanks, Marvin. Okay, thanks, Marvin. You know what bit of the show comes after this bit, don't you? Yeah!
What's new? Retro games. Can you tell me what's new? Retro games, please. What's new? Retro games. Can you tell me what's new? Retro games this week.
Yeah! What's new at Retrogames this week? Well, I didn't bring the box. Yes, and at some strange turn of events, I'm turning the show on its head. The bit you skipped the most, you're going to skip right through the whole show because I'm not getting the box out. This is for all you guys, all you 44 super fans who watch the show every week. Yeah. Screw you, you lot who just skipped to this bit. So, yeah. I mean, there is another reason. The other reason is we did not list much on the site this week. The reason is because we have been concentrating on hardware. We are back into hardware testing mode. We have tested a lot of hardware this week, so head into the site. It will have already be there now, but head into the site. There's a BBC Model B, there's a Dragon 32 in the box, there's a fully working Amstrad CPC 464, there's a Darth Vader Atari VCS, box SNES, PlayStations, Xboxes, I think Saturn. There's loads and loads of hardware. Head into the site this week. So yeah, not very easy for me to get out of the box and not things you haven't seen before. And if I bring out an Amstrad, are you really going to get excited if I'm holding up an Amstrad saying, yeah, it's an Amstrad? No, it's a bit pointless. So that's going to end the show. Thank you for watching. Thank you to all of you who have stuck through to the 30 episodes. I know it only says 21, but it's actually 30. This is our 30th episode, like in this format. So thank you to everyone who's watched all those shows. If you're going to miss this show format so bad, go back to episode 7. Nobody watched episode 7, I think because the thumbnail looks a bit funny, but it was a great episode. It was our Halloween special and hardly anybody watched it. And it has a feature and everything. And I watched the Easter special, that was also obviously really good. Yeah, so there's plenty of me about. And I will be back next week, but it's going to be a slightly different show. Not millions different. I will still be sitting at this table talking to you, I am sure. But on that note, thanks for watching Retrogames. Thanks for watching Retrogames. Until next week, Retrogamers!
Retrogames says thank you for watching. Retrogames says thank you for watching.
My name is Marvin.